Today is the day that we finally attempt to make the cheapest 24 karat pure gold ring. I'm nervous and everybody's been telling me that this 1 gram bar is not going to be enough material to make a ring out of, but we're going to try it anyways. So in order to do this, we're going to use the same process that I usually use to make rings, where I take a hammer, hit the material about 1,000,000 times until it's ring sized. So only 10 minutes in and it's already starting to fold in on itself, and we don't want it to do that. We want it to stay a perfect bar the whole time. So we are gonna have to melt this down and turn it into its own little bar so that it's not so thin and doesn't do this. And a side note here, I didn't expect this super thin, tiny piece to take so long to heat up. And so while it was heating up, you can almost see it looks like it's evaporating. And in my mind, it felt like I was watching this 24 karat piece of gold just evaporate in front of my eyes. But luckily it finally balled up and I was able to pour it. So back to the process, I'm gonna take the big hammer, flatten this down, and then after that, we're gonna take the smaller hammer and go through a process called hammering and hammering and hammering and hammering and hammering. And once we've finally reached the length we need to be for the size, we can take it and anneal it once more so it's super soft and wraps around the mandrel, which this wrapped around so extremely easy. But once we hammer it more, it's gonna harden back up. And with that, we finally get our first look at what this ring is gonna look like. All that's left is to weld it together, which the camera died while trying to film this part. Finally, after a little bit more hammering and forming the ring flat, we're done. And I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I was nervous because everything I read said that there's no way you can make a 1 gram pure gold ring. So here we are. And I definitely don't think I would make any over size 7. So I am gonna list these on my Etsy, but anything over size 7 is gonna be 2 grams because these are already gonna be fragile rings, but I don't wanna ship out an extremely tiny thin piece of metal and call it a ring. So my goal here was to create the cheapest way that I've seen to be able to buy a pure gold ring. The coolest part about these to me is the value of gold. So the market price of this ring right now is about $150. And that's just in the weight of gold. Within the past 2 years, the price of gold has doubled. So technically, the boy math I'm explaining to my fiance so she doesn't kill me for making a bunch of these for myself is that 1, there's a good chance that it's gonna hold its value, and 2, it could even increase in value if it keeps going on the same rate. So that being said, I'm gonna try to list these guys for as cheap as possible for you guys. Obviously, I have to do something because this takes me hours to make. And if too many people start getting them, I'll have to raise the value. But for now, I'm gonna do as cheap as I can to the price of gold. And another thing nobody else does is it's all gonna be the same price up to size 7 because that's 1 gram. And then past that, it'll all be more because it's gonna be 2 grams.